بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Polyethylene terephthalate is a linear polyester consisting of organic compounds of repeating ester groups. PET textile made possible the increasingly wider applications of synthetic fibers due to outstanding physical and chemical characteristics which polyester fiber possess in comparison with natural and synthetic fibers, such as excellent dimensional stability and sturdiness, a high degree of crease resistance, good bulk elasticity, and warm handle. Further, PET characteristics such as great stability of thermoset creases, a high degree of light and heat resistance, and durability of polyester textile due to their great fiber strength and elongation are also very good. Finally, the care of polyester is facilitated by quick drying due to low water absorption and their relatively good resistance to washing treatment and bacteria and microbes. As a result, mass production of PET fibers enhanced the manufacturing of other synthetic fibers. Key concepts for lecture 11 of organic based industries include different classes of polyester, polyester fiber through PET process, batch and continuous PET process, principal and different types of melt spinning, PET bottle recycling into polyester fiber, and polyester staple fiber manufacturing. Different researchers in different time periods produced polyesters with various chemical constituents. The relationship between the work of Carruthers, Shellock, Winfield and Dixon is shown in diagrammatic representation. In industry, polymerization of aromatic polyethylene terephthalate is carried out in two-step process. First step is esterification and preliminary condensation, while the second step is polycondensation or melt polymerization. The flow chart for PET process is depicted in figure. The first step, esterification and preliminary condensation, proceeds via two paths. First path is trans-esterification and preliminary condensation, while second path is direct esterification and preliminary condensation. In the first path, which is trans-esterification path, DMT is reacted with ethylene glycol in the presence of catalyst at temperature from 150 to 200 degrees centigrade to produce BHET, which is bis 2-hydroxyethyl terephthalate, also called diglycol terephthalate DGT. The byproduct of this reaction is methanol. The reaction of first path proceeds the way shown in slide. In the second path, which is direct esterification and preliminary condensation, terephthalic acid is reacted with ethylene glycol in the presence of catalyst at temperature from 250 to 280 degrees centigrade to produce BHET. The byproduct of this reaction is water. The reaction is explained in the scheme named second path. The point to be noticed is that transesterification, first path, is low temperature reaction, while direct esterification, second path, is high temperature reaction. Another point is in transesterification, an ester is made to react with ethylene glycol, whereas in direct esterification, an acid is made to react with ethylene glycol. Second step, which is polycondensation, starts by BHET production through esterification and preliminary condensation. In this step, BHET makes intermolecular condensation reaction to produce PET with the release of ethylene glycol. The reaction is shown in slide. There are two production processes for producing PET, including batch process and continuous process. These two processes are presented on slide. Both ester interchange and direct esterification process are combined with polycondensation steps either batch-wise or continuously. Batch-wise system need two types of reaction vessels, one for esterification or ester interchange and the other for polymerization. Continuous system needs at least three types of vessel, one for esterification or shear interchange, another for reducing excess glycols, and third one for polymerization. The spinning process to form polyester fiber is a three-stage process. In the first stage, polymer chips are converted to DOP either by heat or by dissolving in some solvent. Polymer chips is a solid produced from polymerization. In the second stage, DOP fluid is extruded through a spinneret and then converted to viscoelastic filament. In third stage, the viscoelastic filament is solidified into solid filament fiber, which may be formed by extending the viscoelastic filament. Solidification may be obtained by cooling or by submerging extruded viscoelastic filament in a coagulation bath for removal of solvent, or by extruding into heat chamber for evaporation of solvent. There are three methods of spinning process: melt spinning, wet spinning, and dry spinning. Process description is shown in slide. Wet spinning and dry spinning differ in third stage, where wet spinning utilizes coagulation bath, whereas dry spinning uses heat chamber. If polymer chips are thermoplastic polymers like PET, polyamide polyurethane, etc., melt spinning, wet spinning, or dry spinning can be used. However, melt spinning is preferred. If polymer chips are thermosetting polymers like polyacrylonitrile, viscous rayon, cellulose acetate, etc., wet spinning or dry spinning can be used. In the third stage, when viscoelastic filament is solidified into solid filament fiber, it is extended by drying process. The drying process decreases diameter. ड्रॉ करना फाइबर को खींच के लंबा करना है. Okay, in drying process, diameter of the fiber decreases and orientation of solid filament fiber could increase while it improves the degree of crystallinity. Melt spinning process for polyethylene terephthalate, staple fiber and filament fibers are shown in diagram. Staple fiber is a bunch of fibers, whereas filament fiber is a single fiber. The fourth step in staple fiber production is collection of fibers to make a staple fiber. The fourth step in filament fiber is cold drying. It is a manufacturing process in which fiber is pulled through a die without preheating. Cold drying changes the mechanical properties of fiber and gives the final product a bright finish. In the melt spinning process, the time of fiber forming is usually short. This results in different relaxing state of polymer chain in PET fiber and causes non-uniform internal stresses within fiber. Therefore, many crystal defects appear. Moreover, such an unstable structure would cause fiber shrinkage that make any further finishing process difficult. Thus, in order to achieve a stable fiber structure, heat setting should be controlled before the fibers are used. Heat setting determines the morphology and dimensional stability of thermoplastic fibers. It includes three fundamental factors: temperature, time, and speed. In practice, temperature should be set greater than secondary transition temperature and below melting temperature. Heat setting causes the movement of polymer chain in fiber, which releases internal stress, finally producing a complete and stable structure of fiber as shown in figure. Figure shows that the polymer chain would change into a fold when heat setting temperature is increased. Heat setting process passes through three different stages. The first stage is called fiber structure losing stage, in which due to heating, fiber temperature is higher than Tg. However, the interaction force between PET chain in fibers is weakened in a few seconds. The second stage is an actual heat setting stage in which binding energy between PET chains spontaneously increases while the PET chain produces heat vibration. Because of fiber structure losing stage and heat vibration phenomena, a new binding force between PET chains within fiber is formed. The completion time of this stage is several times that of the first stage. Finally, in third stage, the binding force and the structure of PET chain are fixed when the fiber temperature is kept below Tg. In practice, this stage can be completed in few seconds.
But first, in the UK we throw away billions of plastic bottles every year. We're getting much better at recycling them, but did you know that they can also be turned into clothing? This amazing process starts here at the Bottle Recycling Centre. The first stage is shredding. When you throw away your bottle, you often leave a small amount of drink inside. Shredding all the bottles releases the unwanted liquid so it doesn't affect the quality of the plastic. The shredded bottles are then wrapped in cellophane and boxed up ready to be shipped around the world. It may be rubbish to us, but to the Chinese textile industry, this plastic waste is a valuable commodity. Recycled bottles arrive from all over the world to feed the busy clothing industry. Sorting separates the clear plastic from the colored stuff. Clear plastic can be made into white clothes or material that can be dyed, so it's extremely valuable. Most clear plastic bottles have colored lids and stickers on them, but these have got to go, so the bottles head for the baths. The colored caps are made of a different plastic which floats. A worker can then strain them off the top. Then there's a separate bath for the stickers, but the workers have to be careful around this one. It's corrosive caustic soda, very bad for the skin but very good for removing labels. After all their swimming, what's left is a pile of clear plastic shreds. But it's rather wet. The next step is the ovens, where it's mixed with some light-colored plastics. To produce white cloth, you need some light-shaded material in the mix. The plastic will spend about 10 hours here in these rotating drums, slowly drying out. These workers have to maneuver their cart back and forth underneath the drums to catch the plastic as it falls out. But they've also got to mind their heads on all the other spinning ovens. So we've got our plastic bottles broken down and mixed to produce the right colours. But it's very hard to weave cloth from bits and pieces, so another step is needed. The mixture is sent through this rotating screw where it's heated to 270 degrees Celsius. This melts the plastic, but to make cloth we don't want a big lump, we need thread. The liquid plastic is forced through a sieve and emerges on the other side as great long strings which are collected in a container below. We've now got thread, but it isn't strong enough to make cloth yet. First it must be combined and stretched several times while being heated. This will bond the fibers together. Now, it's taken ages to produce this material, but the next part of the process is to tear it apart again. The fluff that emerges is the raw substance you need to make polyester. However, that takes place in another factory altogether, so the workers here bale it up and send it on. It looks like cotton wool, but it's an entirely man-made substance created from your old bottles. This machine scrapes it all onto a very rough cloth which is loaded here, ready to be carded. Carding is where the bonded fibers are brushed together so they all lie in a similar direction, which strengthens the material. The sheet of polyester felt that emerges is now ready to be turned into thread. These machines will tease it out. They spin off mile after mile of pure polyester, which is collected on these bobbins. And finally, we reach the point where your old plastic bottles become cloth. Like a spider at the center of its web, the loom draws in thousands of threads and weaves a new sheet of polyester. To give it a smoother feel, there are still two more processes to go through. The first is very delicate. This machine creates tiny loops on its surface. The second stage is the opposite. Using a series of tough steel brushes, these spinning rollers catch and tear all the carefully made loops. The shredded surface helps give the material a soft, furry feel, making it far more comfortable to the touch. So we've turned our recycled bottles into polyester at last. Now it's time to make some clothes. Using a roll of material, stylists mark out the latest designs, being as economical as they can with their handy template. Although they're profiting from your rubbish, they don't want to create any more waste. The pieces will then be sent to workers who turn your trash into the trendiest gear you can find on the high street. So what started out as your rubbish was carefully sorted, then shredded, and turned into cloth. That cloth was shredded into fluff, spun into thread, and turned into fashion, from plastic bottles to polyester clothing.
Can you imagine a regular plastic bottle like this turn into a fancy stuffed pillow like this? Well, what goes inside these pillows has a direct link with PET and polyester staple fiber. In this episode of In Focus, we'll be looking at the manufacturing process of this fiber and some of its applications.
When I visited these countries and when I see they're producing fiber from the chips and this and that, but there was a mind that this is the virgin fiber. But the other thing is that there's bottles, which is the PET bottles, which can make fiber, which I've seen especially when I went to India first time and I see this bottle fibers they're producing with the bottles. That was really inspiring me that, okay, the bottles are there, we can make a recycled fiber. The environmental friendly, we can support the environment, can support the country cleanliness, and the product which I'm going to make it is not going to affect the environment again. It's going to you can rewash it. So that was the idea of 15 years ago. When we see the market was growing so big here, retail business was booming, and we said, let's put a plant here to sell made in UAE and use our local resources. It was about 6 to 7 years ago that we started. We thought about a lot of things. This is for importing fiber, and we see a lot of bottles I was exporting from here. When I went to China, I see made in UAE, the plastics, all the bottles they were importing, and they're making fiber and shipping to us. And really, that's really signing for me that why, from my country where I'm businessman, why they're bringing my raw material here and why don't I put a plant there? 2014, we started the production. And that was really, everybody was surprising that this is the bottles, from the bottles you're making the fiber, and it's a beautiful product. So then our stores, customers, big customer retail stores here, they visited us. They said, why? We're importing so many pillows, why don't you make pillows for us? So today we are consuming 10,000 pillows a day in all retail stores, biggest retail stores in the country here. They're my biggest customers. And fiber doesn't cause any environmental problems, doesn't cause any health problems, and it's very profitable because we melt the plastic for 250 degrees. So all the agreements are gone and become very beautiful cotton. That's what you've seen it. We are the only manufacturer which is Emirates Fiber, and that's the only manufacturer of hollow fiber which is recycling. And the largest, we consume about 1,300 tons per month, and we produce 1,000 fibers. If you tell 37 bottles make one pillow, so that's the biggest advantage we have it. So we cleaning all the bottles you drink, and we recycle it, we wash it, we do it, the whole process, and we make the fiber. We want to support the world. We are doing our part. We wanted to do our part, that we wanted to help the countries who are wasting the PET in the streets and causing the serious problem in environments. So environment is our future for my children and your children, for all our children. So we need to clean our world, and that's I'm doing our part. Because I learned this job. I have success in UAE. So number one country was Georgia. We talked to them, and we talked to the African countries like Sudan, like other countries. Ethiopia also was here last week. So we are cooperating with them to offer our technology, our know-how, how to use this PET in your countries, in your own local, because the world is no more allowed to import from other countries to other countries the waste plastics because of the new environmental laws are coming. This is our beautiful world, and we mess up with the plastic. So let's use this plastic to make such a beautiful product, and this is not harmful.
And that's how we can turn everyday plastics into sustainable fabric. If you enjoyed watching this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more such videos. Until next time, this is Saliha Shanawaz signing off.